To give you an idea of the park that we'll be visiting today, this is a map of Big Bend National Park. From Marathon, we entered into Panther Junction. We slept the first night in what they call a backcountry camping right there. This is the Trail for Balanced Rock, all of which are on Grapevine Road. Then slept into Chisos Basin, where you have the Lost Mine Trail. After that, we took the road, which is the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive, into Cottonwood Campground. After that, it is the Santa Elena Canyon. To see Sierra del Carmen, you have to go back to the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. We stopped at Panther Junction to put some gas because the distances are quite important, so it's a good place to do so, and it's very reasonably priced. We entered into Rio Grande Village, where we have a trail to go see the Sierra del Carmen at sunset, which is perfect, after which we did the Daniels Ranch into the hot spring. We stayed for a total of 5 nights, but I would go back and would consider doing the Window, Marufo, Vega Loop, and possibly the South Rim.
I can finally be me.
This is Balanced Rock Trail, which is classified as an easy trail. Out and back is 2.2 miles with a total ascension of 311 feet. The challenge is not the trail itself, but it's reaching trailhead. You have to do 7.7 miles on Grapevine Hill, and there's a section that is really rough that we would not have attempted with the van, but we were with a friend who had a high clearance 4x4, which made it much easier for us to get there. This is the Lost Mine Trail, which is located next to the Chisos Basin Campground. Out and back is 4.8 miles, and the total ascension is 1,200 feet. It is classified as a moderate trail. It is also a very popular trail, so plan ahead for the parking, as it might be an issue. Our friend Jean treated us with Texas steaks. This is his version of a Texas supper for 3 people. Here's some footage at the Chisos Basin Campground. As you can see, it's very well organized, and best of all, it has cell reception. The lower Burro Mesa Pouroff Trail, and the trailhead is accessible from the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. It's a very short and easy trail. It's about a mile long, and there's practically no elevation, but it's definitely worth the stop. On the same road, right before the exit for this trailhead, you're going to see another sign for the Upper Burro Mesa Pouroff Trail, or simply called the Burro Mesa Pouroff Trail. It's a different trail than this one, which is significantly longer. It's about 3.5 miles. So if you're tight on time, this is a very good option. In case you're wondering, both trails do not meet. This was my personal favorite. It is the Santa Elena Canyon Trail. This canyon can be explored 2 ways. You can hike it, or you can paddle the Rio Grande. If you decide to hike it, the trail is 1.7 miles out and back. And since this is what we did, I can add that it's a beautiful scenic hike. To reach the main trail, you should be able to cross the Rio Grande right here. However, we were there in January, and the water was way too deep and way too cold to cross. So we continued on to the right of that place to try to find an alternative trail, and we saw some footprints, and there we saw this fallen tree and a whole bunch of footprints that would lead to it, and that's exactly what we did. And on the other side, as you can see, there is a secondary trail that will bring you to the main trail. As you hike in the Big Bend National Park, you're going to see a number of holes different sizes. This one was particularly big. And of course, the first thing that comes to mind is rattlesnake. I asked rangers about it, and what they said is that in the winter, the rattlesnakes are like comatose because of the cold, and there's nothing to fear. However, don't take my word for it. I'm no rattlesnake expert, but it did give me a comfort level. And here we are at the Santa Elena Canyon. It's like the crescendo of the hike. There is no pictures, there is no film that can really give it justice. I think you have to see it for yourself. The walls are over 1,500 feet tall. You feel very, very small in the middle of this beautiful view. The reflection in the water, it's such a treat. I would do it any day. We are back on the scenic drive on our way to the Rio Grande section of the park. You will find two campground options. One belongs to the Big Bend National Park and the other one is privately owned. The main difference between both, apart from the price, is that the Big Bend Campground does not offer any hookups, but there are designated areas that allow for generators between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., while the privately owned one only has hookups and tents are not allowed. You will be crossing Panther Junction. It's a good idea to ask yourself whether you need to fill up with gas or not. It's going to be the only gas station, and the distances are quite important between one point to the other. Beside the campground, there is a village store which provides free Wi-Fi access, and we could access the Wi-Fi through the parking lot, which was really good. And for a reasonable fee, you will have access to the showers and laundry. This is the Rio Grande Village Nature Trail, which is accessible directly from the Big Bend Rio Grande Campground. It's a short trail that's going to give you an amazing sunset view of the Sierra del Carmen.
With me, just give you a moment, stay a moment with me. You woke up from a while, haven't seen a smile since December. Ripped your heart, got a brand new one since you got lost in November.
Here's something that is noteworthy. Every time you are looking across the Rio Grande, you're actually looking into Mexico. Finally, a real roadrunner. Here's a flashback to my childhood. This is the Rio Grande Campground, just to show you how spacious and comfortable it was. Originally, we had reserved in the section that allows for generators, and the minute that we got settled in, we started to hear all the generators around us. So we saw the rangers and we asked them if they could accommodate us and change our section, and they did, so I think it's worth asking. This is at the beginning of the Hot Springs Trail at Daniel's Ranch. I wanted to have a place where I could see Sierra del Carmen and the Rio Grande for sunset, so if this is what you're looking for, this is the perfect spot to do it. We are back at Daniel's Ranch parking lot, and this time it's to do the Hot Spring Trail. This trail is 6 miles out and back with a 360 feet elevation change. There is absolutely no shade on this trail, so make sure that you bring enough water. If you want to go to the hot springs but you don't want to do this hike, you can also drive there, and I think it's maybe a mile out and back. And it's not even considered a hike, really. It's considered a walk to the hot springs. Like many other hot springs, this one is reputed to have some healing powers because of the mineral salts. As you can see, it's pretty enclosed. I did not want to get in because there's too many people and there's no circulation of water. However, the fact that you can go by car, if you want to be alone, I would suggest go early in the morning. You can have the place to yourself. The water gets, they say 105 Fahrenheit, which is very comfortable. So that's another option. You will see there used to be a hotel in this spot, and there's also some ancient writings on the rock, as you can see. We are now at the end of our stay. We stopped at Fossil Discovery Exhibit on our way out, which was definitely worth the spot. And the next one is my only picture of the night sky at Big Bend. It was absolutely fabulous.